You're welcome back. Okay, there's a drama that ensued at the Rivers State House of Assembly quarters on Wednesday when Governor Siminalayi Fubara arrived at the venue, but the entrance gate was locked. Our correspondents observed that the security personnel at the quarters locked the gates when the governor's convoy arrived. The action of the security personnel was hinged on the position that there was no official communication between the governor and the assembly. However, Fubara said he communicated his coming to Speaker Martin Zamawile through a letter and tried to call him on the phone since Tuesday. Also, the Rivers State Governor shared a letter notifying the House of the governor's visit. Fubara had said he would fully implement the February 28, 2025 judgment of the Apex Court and directed the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RCEC, to come up with modalities for the fresh election. The Electoral Commission fixed August 9, 2025 to conduct a fresh local government polls in the state. Furthermore, the Secretary to the State Government, Tammy Danagogo, in a letter dated March 7, 2025, sought a meeting with the lawmakers for the March 10, 2025 to discuss the representation of the 2025 budget and a peace talk. But the Assembly had asked the governor to channel his invitation properly. Our guests this morning are Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo, a public affairs analyst, and we also have Ikenda Clinton Elechi, entrepreneur and public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the program.
Morning.
Okay. So, good morning. Let me begin with Elechi. Give us your take on the Rivers crisis, where we are right now, the current position that we are right now. Yesterday, what happened, and from what is happening from the governor and the state assembly, what is your take on this issue?
Okay, all right. Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Nigerians, of course. Chapp-Jumbo, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
The issue is straightforward. It's very straightforward. It's not, we shouldn't trivialize issues that are straightforward. Following the Supreme Court judgment, the governor immediately committed himself towards the implementation of the judgment of the Supreme Court, one of which is the representation of the budget appropriation bill. And now the Assembly on its own, flowing from the euphoria of victory, issued an ultimatum almost immediately. The government must present, do all the court has said within the 48 hours period. And he tried to keep with the judgment of the court. And if you say maybe the ultimatum issued by the Assembly, the governor wrote the Assembly through its speaker. Apart from writing to the Assembly, he also adopted informal measure through WhatsApp just to reach out to the speaker when it was difficult to reach the speaker, just to add to the letter he had written earlier. Because you need to be sure that Mr. Speaker had got the letter and the House would be waiting for him. Unfortunately, by the time the governor got there to commence what the Supreme Court has said, of course, you've said it, they locked the governor out. What happened in Rivers, or what's happening in Rivers State is unprecedented in the history of Nigerian politics. You can't imagine Mr. President driving to the National Assembly quarters and the security locking Mr. President out. Mr. President is the commander-in-chief, is the chief accounting officer of the whole of Federation. Just like the governor is the chief accounting officer for the whole of Rivers State. And in a property owned by the Rivers State government, the chief executive of that government is being locked out. So it's clear that what the Assembly is looking for is not a resolution of the crisis. Their mind is fixated somewhere. So even if the governor gives them his wife, there won't be peace, except that one they want. So we want also to make it very, Fubara is not an exception.
Okay.
Rivers people are If anybody anywhere thinks that he can run roughshod over all of us, the person is deceiving himself.
Okay.
So,
Okay, let me.
We'll
come back to you. We'll come back to you, Elechi. We'll come back to you, Elechi. Let me go to Jumbo right now. Maybe he will have a contrary view. This is where we are right now, and according to how Elechi has pointed out, the chief security officer was locked out. Maybe that will not be the strongest point you will be looking at right now, but there's been a Supreme Court judgment. The governor is trying to reconcile. Maybe there is something he's not doing that, to show that the reconciliation can really hold. Maybe he's missing out something. But I'd like you to comment on where we are right now in Rivers' political crisis. Your own opinion, Jumbo.
Thank you so much, and good morning.
Morning.
Look, what we are seeing in Rivers State is, I think the governor is more interested in content creation and theatrics, other than doing what he needs to do to bring lasting peace to the state and also implement the judgment of the Supreme Court. Now, my good friend here mentioned about the president. Even at the national level, the president cannot wake up this morning and show up at the National Assembly without properly communicating to both leaders of both chambers of the National Assembly. There are procedures and modus operandi of communication where the president needs to visit the National Assembly. You cannot just wake up in the morning and go to the National Assembly. The letter the governor had finally written to the Speaker of the House, that letter, was sent to the Speaker and to the Assembly at 11 p.m. yesterday. In fact, we saw a WhatsApp message about after 4 p.m. close of business yesterday. Now, when you have written to the Assembly, you have to wait for the Assembly. Your letter will be read on the floor of the Assembly for members to be informed that you have written them, and then a motion is moved and adopted and to admit you to the Assembly. A date is fixed for your visit to the Assembly, and then the Assembly will communicate same back to you as governor, informing you of a date and time that the members have agreed to welcome you to the Assembly. You don't just wake up because you have written a letter and you show up at the Assembly. That's an invasion. We have to call it what it is. The governor was invading the Assembly quarters yesterday. Is what we call it. But he called cameramen and video men to come and film whatever he was doing yesterday. But that's not how things are done, most sincerely. Now, if we continue like this, the only people that are suffering in all of this are the people of Rivers State. The Monday after the judgment was passed, by the Supreme Court, the Assembly wrote to you and said, look, we are putting away all other issues. We want to indeed attend to the issue of budget, and we ask that you present the budget in 48 hours so that we can, make speedy review of it and be able to pass it so that we can get the monies that we need for the state. You saw it as a 48 hours ultimatum. Even if you saw it as an ultimatum for 48 hours, you should have written back to the Assembly to say, look, I cannot do this in 48 hours. Can you give me a week? That's how you communicate to the Assembly. The governor is not communicating in this regard with the members of the Assembly. And instead, he wants to boozle them around. And you're just coming from an issue, a crisis where we have both sued ourselves to court and we have won this case. I think the governor needs to be able to show himself more as a true politician and be able to work around with the Assembly members. What we are seeing is not trying to work with them. You're trying to bamboozle them. Now you are saying that the letter they sent to you for over a year, these same Assembly members have been writing you letters and correspondence, and the letters will get to the gates and there will be instruction not to receive them. So now why are you angry or why are you acting drama that your own letter now has been bounced at the gate or something? But what I'm trying to say now at the end of the day, the governor needs to show he is truly trying to make peace for the state. You should communicate properly with your Assembly members. That's what you need to do as governor. The president has it been heard that the president shows up at the National Assembly and want to present budget without proper communication with the Assembly leaders. So I don't know what we are doing, but
Okay,
we have to say it what it is, and we have to call it what it is, and say the truth on these issues. If it's part of the problem in River State.
Let me just ask you.
Well, we are not saying the truth on the issue.
Let me just ask you.
So what happened yesterday with the governor at the assembly quarters? Some of us just look at it as just acting Nollywood or content creation by the governor, but nobody locked you out. You choose to invade the assembly, and then it was resisted by the members of the assembly. As you need to communicate properly with the assembly members, can you show us? We have been asking since yesterday. Can we see an acknowledgement copy of that letter and maybe a response to you? And at the end of his interview at the gate, he said something. He said maybe they are preparing their letter to respond to him. So, Mr. Governor, sir, why didn't you wait for that letter and that response before you came to the assembly? What do you want to show? You can't play victim in this case. I'm sorry. The governor cannot play victim in this case. He needs to communicate properly with the assembly members.
Wisdom, all right.
And be able to establish a line of communication.
All right, Wisdom. Let me before I go back to Elechi, just a few questions. So, you're saying that if the president, it has never happened, but if the president decides now that maybe he's passing to somewhere else, and he is at the National Assembly, and he decides to go in without any notice, the people at the gate will lock him out because he did not do any correspondence to them. I'm just asking to know if that is what is going to happen.
If the president has the same frosty relationship that the governor of Rivers State has with his legislators, I'm sorry, even the president will be kept outside of the gate. So you have just come from a legal battle. You have to, be able to, have a relationship with your legislators. Can you call the principal officers, discuss with them? Can you be able to show that you did one piece?
Do you know why I asked this question?
In this case, the governor was not just passing by.
Wisdom.
In this case, the governor was not just passing by.
Yes.
The governor said he has come to present the budget of the state.
I agree, Wisdom, I agree. The reason I'm asking this question is that there's a difference between the governor going to the River State House of Assembly or wherever they are sitting to present the budget, and the assembly members say no, we cannot hear this budget because we are not ready. And the security personnel at the gate locking out the chief security officer of the state. They are two different things. That's why I'm asking you this. So now, if the governor is supposed to be the chief security officer of the state, and then someone else is giving orders to the security personnel, no matter how high they are, to lock him out, does it not worry you? Apart from the fact that there's a political crisis, there is a legal battle that has been won and lost and all that, does it not worry you that he's setting a precedent that may not be good?
The last time the governor showed up at the assembly complex, it was burnt down. Where they are sitting right now is the assembly quarters, is the residence of the assembly members. So forgive me if for a second time the governor is showing up unannounced, uninvited, and then the security may say, look, we have orders, we have not received orders to let you in, sir. Have you communicated with the speaker?
Orders from who?
There needs to be a relationship. If there's no communication,
okay,
why do you show up at the assembly? Last time you showed up in this manner, the assembly complex was, demolished, was brought down.
All right,
I don't know if I've forgotten this.
All right,
the Supreme Court said it in their judgment.
Let me go to Elechi for a response now. Elechi, you've heard what Wisdom has said, and he responded to what you said as well. So I'd like to give you that opportunity to respond as well.
Okay, like I said before, the assemblymen are not ready for peace. If you listen to Wisdom very carefully, his choice of words, he used words like invasion, words like uninvited, unannounced, orders given and orders not taken. Gentlemen, let's understand that this is the running or the government process for governance to run in the state. The issues here are very clear. The governor is the chief security officer of the state. The assembly had earlier written to the governor, inviting the governor to a presentation of the budget and sundry issues. There had been communication. The governor himself had written back to say, okay, I'm coming. So why would anybody say the governor showed up uninvited? And in any case, just the way he pointed out, assuming the governor wants to, he is talking about there should be a relationship. Is it not disrespectful to the office of the governor of Rivers State that the security man would bounce the governor? If Wike were the governor, he would pull the house down. If it was when Wike was governor, he would pull the house down. Look, we must not, because of our support for anybody, disrespect the office of the governor of Rivers State. Fubara is not just the governor. He is not just the Fubara. He occupies the exalted office of the governor of Rivers State. And nobody has the right to bounce the governor from a government facility. Is anybody saying that? Look at what he's saying, that the last time the governor showed up at the House of Assembly, the House of Assembly was demolished. Has he gone there to see the beauty the assembly is today? The reconstruction that is going on there. That assembly was built under Chief how many years ago? And you recall very clearly that there was a bomb scare at the assembly quarters, for which it was advised that it was no longer safe for human habitation. Now, the government, in trying to safeguard the lives of its assembly members and workers at the assembly, and even Rivers people at large, decided to renovate the assembly. And you're saying that the last time the governor came there, it was demolished. Look, my brother, we are discussing the office of the governor. People are taking him for granted because he is a man of peace or whatever. If there are some persons that will be the governor of Rivers State, and you dare not try such, heaven will fall. Do you understand what I'm saying? If when Wike was the governor in this state, by mere word, Wike was arresting people and jailing people. Wike was giving order for the demolition of people's houses. But here we are, belittling the office of the governor of Rivers State. Come on. So, but then you have a man who is inherently disposed to peace.
Oh, okay, Elechi.
Otherwise,
Elechi, let me just say, in closing, because
some of us will not even take it. Let the heavens fall.
Elechi, just a moment. In closing, what would you like to see? Because the resolution of this crisis is very important. How would you want it resolved? I will take that from you and also take from Wisdom as briefly as possible. Where would you want? How would you like this problem resolved right now? We are where we are. Everything that has happened, but we need peace in Rivers State. How do we go about it? What is the blueprint you will give for peace in Rivers State to happen? Through your own eyes, let's see how that route works.
Okay, Mr. Anko, just to answer you very clearly and direct, the governor has done everything to commence a negotiation. Every war ends up on the negotiation table. The governor had written to this assembly, say, come to government house, let's talk. They refused. The governor has also gone to their own, to them, they refused. So what more do you want the governor to do? So the governor, as long as I'm concerned, the governor has shown good faith. The ball is now in the court of the assembly members who would neither go to government house nor receive the governor in their quarters. So for me, to resolve the issue is straightforward. The assembly men should show commitment. They should understand that their personal ego is not what we are looking for. They have a job to do for Rivers people and to Rivers people. They must not pull Fubara down because they want to feed somebody's ego.
Okay.
So let them calm down.
All right. Okay. So
let them approach this issue with the ball it requires, and let them engage the governor with a view to resolving the issue within the framework of the rule of law.
All right. Thank you. Wisdom. He has placed the ball in the courts of the assembly members. And you raised some concerns that gave you worry why this thing is happening like this. So without having to go back there, how would you like this issue to be resolved? Like I said, the same question that I asked him. We're closing now. Be brief, please.
Okay, I think the way forward is the governor needs to understand that in making peace, he must be seen to be true to make peace and moving the state forward, and not all these theatrics that we're seeing. You have written to the assembly members that you would like to come and present the budget. Mr. Governor, please, you also have to wait for the response of the assembly members in accordance to your letter to give you a date and time to come and do so. You cannot show up at the assembly and walk into the chambers of the assembly to present budget. There's a process to this. You have to be listed on the order paper of the plenary for that day for you to do so. And the Supreme Court judgment has laid down all that needs to happen, to restore peace in the state. All we are saying is that the governor needs to truly show, that he wants to make this peace and work with the assembly members and not try to bamboozle them around and not try to show all these theatrics and content creation he's doing, all in the needs or the way to, to act a victim in this issue. The issue has been resolved by the Supreme Court, and all we are saying is that work with the principal officers and the assembly so that there can be a way forward. The people that you may have crossed in this issue of legal battle for over a year. You know them. Can you show to make peace with some of them? And I like that he acknowledged the presence of OCJ Okocha yesterday, at the commissioning day for yesterday, at the commission of one of the projects. OCJ Okocha, a legal luminary, was one of the people that we believe, the elders in the state, that you showed bad light to. And there are many of them also that you need to also reach out to make peace. If we are truly making peace, let us show that we are truly making peace to move the state forward. The assembly members are ready to work with you, Mr. Governor, but you need to also show that you are not there to push them around. They don't work for you as governor. They are another arm of the government, and they work for the people and their constituents.
All right,
so
thank you.
You have to show a good faith to work with them, and they are very willing to work with you. And the speaker has shown that with several correspondence that has been sent to you, which of course you have disregarded, but we have to show that the way forward is peace.
Point taken. The governor should also, so that means all parts should concede some things. You have to sacrifice something for you to get peace. And this is what is happening.
Definitely.
And in all days, Rivers people should also stand up to see how this reconciliation can happen. Because sometimes the governor could have his own ego, the House of Assembly could have theirs, and the Rivers people will be the ones to suffer. So I think the Rivers people should come together as well, because even though some of us are not from Rivers, it is really, really weighing down on us. Every day hearing about Rivers fighting here and there for a state that was the pride of our country. So it shouldn't happen that way. But I'd like to thank you, gentlemen. I'm particularly glad that you are from both divides and you seek peace, both of you. Thank you for coming on the show this morning. Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo and Ikenda Clinton Elechi, thank you for being a part of our program.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo is a public affairs analyst, and also that's the same thing with Elechi. He's also a public affairs analyst, but also an entrepreneur. So we've been talking to them about the Rivers crisis. We'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll be looking at setting up a military base in Benue State to help in the security situation of that place. Stay with us.